Hey guys, since it's close to Halloween and that time of year, I thought I would tell a paranormal story that happened to me back when I was 15 years old. This was the late 90s, just outside of town here. About 3 miles or so outside of town is a state property, state park, and it's got a lake. It's Hargis Lake, A&W Marion State Park, if you want to look it up. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to see what the place looks like. But me and a friend of mine were out there, and it was in the middle of summer. I mean, it was hot. I don't remember the exact month, but it had to have been June or July anyway. And we were walking around, just kind of goofing off a little bit, and decided we'd walk around the lake for no real reason, just something to do. It's about 5 mile or so clear around. I've done it a million times, it seems like. But anyhow, we walked across the dam, which isn't that far of a walk in itself. Took a left hand turn at where the trail goes. And we get partway back there and we start to get thirsty. We hadn't even really walked all that far, but being kids and stuff, you really don't think about trying to save any water or whatever. So we're walking around the path a little bit, and there's a certain part of the trail that cuts through a farm. Not very much of it, just barely cuts through. But you can see the house that's in the picture. Right across from that, there was a big oak tree, pretty good sized tree. So we're standing under this tree in the shade, just kind of taking a break for a minute. And we're both thinking, and kind of talking a little bit that we're thirsty and we'd like to have something to drink. But, of course, out there was nowhere to get anything. So we didn't know what to do. So, like I said, we're sitting there, and a few minutes go by, and a woman comes out of this exact house. The house looks a little different now. Somebody's been doing some work on it. That's an older photo that I had found. But that is the condition it was in roughly when we were there. I didn't take this photo, but that's pretty much what it looked like. So anyhow, we're across from it, and this woman comes out. Never paid her much attention, really. I would say like your typical grandma, Aunt B type of thing. But really didn't pay any attention. And she asked us what the trouble was. And we just said, well, we were thirsty. And that was all we really said. So she leaves. She goes back in the house. A few minutes later, 2 or 3 minutes, whatever, she comes back with two tall, real heavy, like thick, not dollar store glasses, but heavy drinking glasses full of lemonade. So me and my buddy there, she goes back in the house at this point. And me and my buddy sat there and drink the lemonade, kind of chill out a little bit. And we walked back up to the house, and we were going to knock on the door and say something, but it was hot out and everything. We really didn't want to bother her. So we just kind of politely out loud said thanks. Whether she heard us or not, I don't know. But we set the two glasses down in front of the door and left, and thought, wow, that was nice. We thought it was a little odd because we had been out in that area before, but never knew anybody lived there. But we figured maybe somebody from the farm, maybe she was messing around, or who knows. Didn't think a whole lot of it. Continued on about our day, and that was it. So we walked around the rest of the day and things, went home, never really spoke about it, didn't see anything too strange, until about a month or so went by, and we were back at the same area again, and we saw a guy, which would be off to the left of the house as you're looking at it in the photo. He was a worker. And I asked for him, I hollered at him and told him to come here, and he did, and asked us what we wanted. And we said we felt a little bad, that we didn't get a chance to thank that lady from the house there. And he's giving us this like really strange look. And I said, the older lady, your grandma type, I said, I don't really know how else to describe her, but from the little house there. And the guy gives us kind of this stunned look and says, boys, I don't know exactly how to say anything to you, but that house has been abandoned for years. The lady you're talking about, she died 50 years before you boys were ever here. Because we had told him when we were here last, approximately. And that really, freaked us out. He said nobody's lived in that house since. And after doing some research of my own, I found out the people that own that farm don't live there at all. They live north of me up in Columbus, which is the capital of the state. And they rent it out. But at that time period, 50 years prior to that, the lake was not even there. That would have been the time that they would have built the dam, and that was all cornfield. My grandfather, who recently passed, as a lot of you know, when he was in the military, they used to train out there, different maneuvers. Said even the pilots back then would do practice bombing runs out there with like 100-pound sacks of flour because it was easy to see when it would, hit the ground, see how close they were to their targets, and they would do different maneuvers out there because it was just a field, cornfields and stuff. So I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but from what paranormal stuff I've looked into and people I've talked to, when there is a heightened, big change in somebody's life, that can have an impact. Now, who the lady was or anything, I've never been able to find out. Years ago, I tried to contact the owners, but didn't have any luck. I would like to try again. But thought I would throw that story out there to see what you guys might think. That was one that always has stuck with me like forever. Because I've been by that area tons of times, whether I've been hunting out there, hiking, whatever. It's a very popular area. A lot of people go out there when the weather's nice, and everybody around here pretty well knows that little house, but not a whole lot of information about it. But it's definitely an older house. I always thought maybe from the original farm. I really don't know any info about it, but it kind of seems that it's definitely old enough anyway. But somebody's been doing some remodels on it lately, within the last year or so. I haven't been out there for a while. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I had done a video similar to this a few years back, but I know there's a lot of newer people that subscribed and been checking out the channel, so I thought I would redo it. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you got any opinions or anything, I'd like to hear it. And if anybody's got anything they would like to share down in the comments, a story or something that might have happened to them, always fun to read, especially this time of year. So take it easy, guys. If I ever get any new info about this particular event, I'll definitely post a follow-up. So take it easy, guys, and don't forget to check me out over on Twitch. Link is in the description. Take it easy.